AITA for leaving my wife after our slideshow revealed her affair with my best friend? My name is Cole. I'm 34. I live in a suburb outside Philadelphia, and I work as a claims adjuster for a regional insurance company, which basically means I spend most of my week reading about people's worst days in PDF form. Mine are car accidents, basement floods, and tree limbs falling through roofs. I am the guy who notices when someone says they were at Home Depot at 2:15, but the receipt says 4:40. My wife, Brianna, used to joke that I could spot a lie by the way someone over-explained a dented bumper. We had been married 7 years, together almost 10, and our friend group treated our anniversary like some kind of local holiday. Every fall, someone would host a backyard dinner, someone else would bring too much Costco wine, and I would pretend I did not notice Brianna hiding the good cupcakes in the laundry room before people arrived. That year, the party was supposed to be at our house on Saturday night. Brianna said she wanted to make it extra special because 7 years felt like a milestone. 7 years deserves something better than pizza and a sheet cake, she told me, standing in our kitchen with her laptop open and a pen between her teeth. I believed her, mostly because I wanted to. I had no idea the people hanging string lights in my backyard were also in a group chat laughing about how foolish I was. Our house was a split level with a half-finished basement, a fenced backyard, and a garage that stored more Christmas bins than actual tools. It was not fancy, but it was ours. The banister still had a dent from when Wesley helped me carry in a used treadmill we swore we would both use. The guest bathroom had paint samples on the wall from a project Brianna started the year before and never finished. The junk drawer contained 3 dead batteries, 7 mystery keys, and a tape measure everyone borrowed without asking. That was how our group worked. Everyone knew the garage code. Everyone knew the spare key was under the fake rock by the side steps, which defeated the whole purpose of a fake rock. People let themselves in if they were dropping off folding chairs or borrowing a cooler. On Sundays, someone brought wings, someone brought beer, and the Eagles game was on whether dinner was ready or not. The same 8 people showed up for everything. There was Wesley, my best friend since community college. He was 35, worked in commercial HVAC sales, and could talk his way into any building in the tri-state area. He was loud, funny, useful, and always somehow holding a ladder when someone needed one. He had a truck, a smoker, and the kind of confidence that made people forgive him for being late. There was Paige, who had known Brianna almost as long as I had, and her husband Trevor, who had the permanent expression of a man trying not to pick a side. Kendra was Brianna's closest friend, the kind of person who could turn a casual dinner into an event with matching napkins and a shared Venmo spreadsheet. Malcolm handled music and photos because he owned a nice camera and said things like, "Lighting matters," even at backyard cookouts. Vanessa was not part of that group. She was my coworker and friend from the insurance office. She lived 20 minutes away, had no patience for social theater, and once told me that half my friends sounded like people who would Venmo request you for tap water. I laughed then. Later, I remembered it differently. Brianna worked in donor relations for a local nonprofit. She was good at it. Really good. She could make a retired dentist feel like a hero for writing a check and make a room full of board members think the annual gala mattered. She had a polished warmth that people trusted. Even when she was stressed, she knew how to smile at the right time. That last year of our marriage had been quieter than the others. Not bad in a dramatic way. No loud arguments. No sleeping in separate rooms. No slammed doors. Just fewer small things. She stopped sending me photos of weird dogs she saw on lunch breaks. She took calls in the car after pulling into the driveway. She started bringing her phone into the bathroom. If I asked whether she wanted to watch something, she would say, "Maybe later," then scroll in bed with her shoulders angled away from me. When I asked if something was wrong, she would sigh like she was tired of explaining the same thing. "It is donor season, Cole. I am just tired." So I tried to be supportive. I made dinner more often, even if that meant grilled chicken that tasted like an apology. I picked up her dry cleaning. I stopped teasing her about answering emails during movies. I told myself every marriage had slow seasons, and this was one of ours. Wesley was around a lot during that time. But Wesley had always been around a lot, which was part of the problem. Nothing looks suspicious when it looks familiar. He fixed our loose side gate in July after I mentioned it kept sticking. "Relax, man," he said, crouched by the latch with a drill in one hand and a beer in the other. "Your garage has better snacks than my apartment." I am protecting my investment. Brianna laughed from the patio, and I remember feeling grateful. That was Wesley. He showed up. He helped. He made everyone feel like the problem was already halfway solved. A few weeks later, he messed with the Wi-Fi extender near the garage because the side camera kept lagging on the security app. I did not ask him to exactly. I complained about the app freezing while we were watching football, and he said, "I will take a look." That was normal too. The anniversary party planning started about a month before the date. Brianna became strangely intense about it. She and Kendra had shared notes, catering ideas, drink lists, and a schedule. There were Venmo requests labeled Ice Plus trays, Costco desserts, and party stuff, don't ask. Kendra kept dropping by with bags from Target and Michael's, then shooing me away from my own dining room. "We want some surprises, okay?" she said one night, holding a roll of gold ribbon. "Do not be nosy for once." "I live here," I said. "Then go live in the basement for 20 minutes. I laughed because that was how Kendra talked. Bossy, but usually harmless. Malcolm volunteered to make a slideshow. Brianna told me it would be cute. Old photos, wedding pictures, vacation shots, birthdays, and the time our basement flooded when Wesley took a photo of me standing in 2 inches of water, holding a shop vac like I was going to fight the ocean. "You will like it," Brianna said. "I already hate that you were saying that." She smiled, but it did not quite land. Her eyes went back to her phone. 2 days before the party, I was working from home at the dining room table, reviewing a claim where a guy insisted hail damaged only the left side of his car while it sat inside a garage. Malcolm came over to test the projector. He had his laptop bag, a portable screen, and the distracted energy of someone who had 6 errands and wanted credit for all of them. "Bree said I could set up in the living room," he said. "Sure." I moved a stack of mail off the table. "Need anything?" "Wi-Fi password. It is on the fridge." He squinted at the magnet where Brianna had written the password 3 years earlier. "Your password is still Fly Eagles Fly 2019? We are loyal people." He snorted, then connected cables, muttered at the projector, and asked me to airdrop him a folder of old photos from a shared drive because his download was taking forever. We both had MacBooks. His was named Malcolm MacBook Pro. Mine was Cole Work MacBook because I am not creative before coffee. A few minutes later, a file request popped up on my screen. "And of final use these." I clicked accept without thinking, assuming he was sending me a test file or maybe asking me to check if it opened. A folder appeared in my downloads. "I think you sent me the whole folder," I said. Malcolm looked up too fast. "What?" "The anniversary folder." He crossed the room in 3 steps. "Dude, do not open that." I already had. At first, it looked normal. Photos of me and Brianna at the shore. A video from our 5th anniversary. A picture of our dog, Hank, who had died the previous winter and still hurt to see unexpectedly. Then I saw 3 PNG files that were not photos. Screenshots. The first one showed a group chat called No Coal Zone. Kendra, keep Cole away from the kitchen after 8 o'clock. Wesley, he won't notice. He never does. Brianna had reacted with a laughing emoji. My face went hot, then cold. The second screenshot was worse. Kendra, do not let him see the kitchen after 8 o'clock or he will ask why Wesley's jacket is in there again. Trevor, this feels wrong. Kendra, then mute the chat. The third one had a message from Wesley. Wesley, side gate works if he comes home early again. Under it, Malcolm had replied, "Bro, delete that." I looked at Malcolm. He looked like he had seen a ghost. "What is No Coal Zone?" I asked. He ran a hand over his beard. "That is a mistake. Listen, I do not know why those are in there." "In the folder you just sent me?" "It is probably a weird transfer thing." "A weird transfer thing." I heard the phrase and almost laughed. At work, people say things like that when they back into a poll and want the poll to share the blame. My first instinct was to stand up and demand answers. Not just from Malcolm, from everyone. From Brianna, who was at work or said she was. From Wesley, who had eaten ribs in my backyard 4 nights earlier and called me brother. But my job has trained me to distrust the first version of any story, including my own. When something ugly shows up, you preserve it before people can clean it away. So I made myself blink. I made my voice confused instead of furious. "Probably just a weird transfer issue," I said. "Do not worry about it." Malcolm stared at me, trying to decide whether I meant it. "Are you sure?" "Yeah. I have a call in 5 minutes anyway." He packed faster than he needed to. He said the projector worked, said he would see me Saturday, and said, "Do not mention the slideshow to Bree," on his way out like that was still the main problem. The second his car pulled away, I copied the folder onto a flash drive. Then I copied it again to my work laptop. Then I took screenshots of the screenshots because apparently my brain needed 3 layers of proof before it would let me breathe. I read the messages over and over. They were not explicit enough to confirm the worst yet, but they were humiliating. Casual cruelty has its own handwriting. He won't notice. He never does. I sat at the dining table with my claim files open and did not read a single line for 20 minutes. That evening, Brianna came home with grocery bags from Wegmans and kissed the top of my head while I chopped onions. "Smells good," she said. "It is chilly. On a Thursday? I am unpredictable." She laughed lightly and set a bag of cilantro on the counter. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, turned it face down, and started unloading avocados like nothing in the world had shifted. I watched her hands. I watched her face. I waited to feel something simple, like rage. Instead, I felt like I had walked into my own house and found all the furniture moved 2 inches to the left. After dinner, she said she had to make a few calls for work and went to sit in her car in the driveway. Through the kitchen window, I could see the glow of her phone against her face. She was not smiling. She was listening, nodding slightly, like someone taking instructions. When she came back in, I was loading the dishwasher. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Just gala stuff. I thought the gala was last month." She paused for half a second. Too short for most people to notice. Long enough for me. "Follow-up donor stuff," she said. "You know how it is." I did not, actually, but I nodded. That night, after she fell asleep with her phone tucked under her pillow, I went downstairs and logged into our cell account. Not to read messages. I could not do that. But call logs were right there, clean and boring and devastating. Brianna and Wesley had been talking late at night for months. 10 minutes here, 42 minutes there. One call at 12:18 a.m. that lasted over an hour while I had been asleep next to her, probably breathing with my mouth open like an idiot. There were calls on nights she said she was too tired to talk. Calls on mornings Wesley claimed he was driving to Lancaster for work. I exported the logs. The next morning, I checked the home security app. The front camera showed nothing except Amazon deliveries, a neighborhood cat, and me taking the trash out in basketball shorts. The driveway camera was boring. The side gate camera was different. It had gone offline 7 times in 5 weeks. Always in the evening. Always for between 20 minutes and 2 hours. The app said weak connection. The camera near the side gate was the one Wesley had fixed. I remembered him standing in our garage, twisting the extender in his hand. Funny how the only camera that kept dying was the one by the gate, I said out loud to no one. The sound of my own voice in the empty kitchen made me feel embarrassed, so I stopped. I found the hotel receipt by accident, though I guess at that point nothing felt accidental anymore. Brianna had asked me to move her car so Malcolm could bring equipment through the driveway Saturday morning. When I got in, the glove compartment was hanging slightly open because it always stuck unless you slammed it. I pushed it shut, and a folded receipt slipped down onto the passenger side floor mat. I picked it up. It was from a boutique hotel near King of Prussia. Thursday afternoon. 2 weeks earlier. 1 room. 1 parking charge. 2 cocktails from the lobby bar. That date was familiar because I had texted Brianna that day asking if she wanted me to make dinner. She said she had an all-day donor meeting and would probably grab food there. Wesley had texted the main group chat that same morning. "Lancaster all day. Pray for my back." I sat in the driver's seat for 10 minutes holding that receipt like a heavy burden. By Friday night, I knew enough to turn my life upside down, but not enough to protect it. That was the distinction I kept making myself focus on. Anger wanted a confession. Survival needed a file. Saturday morning, the day of the anniversary party, I barely slept. Brianna woke up early and moved through the house like a campaign manager. She had lists on the counter, flower arrangements in mason jars, a Costco cake in the laundry room fridge, and a Bluetooth speaker charging by the back door. She was wearing leggings and one of my old Penn State sweatshirts. For a second, watching her put coffee on, I hated how normal she looked. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Yeah, just tired." "Tonight will be good for us," she said. I looked at her. She added quickly, "I mean, we need something happy. We have both been so stressed." Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Paige, can we talk before people come over? Just us. I stepped into the basement, where the concrete floor was still half-painted from a project I abandoned in March, and called her. She answered on the first ring. She was crying. I should have told you months ago, she said. My knees went weak. Not in a dramatic falling to the floor way. More like my body quietly suggested sitting down before it stopped cooperating. What should you have told me? I asked, even though I already knew. Brianna and Wesley. There it was. Said plainly. No screenshots. No patterns. No maybes. Paige took a shaky breath. I thought it was one reckless mistake after that brewery night in June. That is what Kendra said. She said Brianna was confused and miserable and handling it privately. Then it kept going. I kept waiting for someone braver to step up. To tell me. Yes. I closed my eyes. She kept talking, faster now, like if she slowed down she might lose her nerve. Trevor wanted to say something, but Kendra kept saying it was not our marriage and that you were emotionally checked out anyway. Wesley told people you and Bree were basically over. I did not believe all of it, but I let myself believe enough to stay quiet. Why now? Because it is not just a betrayal anymore. My hand tightened around the phone. What does that mean? I am sending you something. I am sorry. I know that does not fix anything. A minute later, a PDF landed in my messages. No coal zone export.pdf. I opened it on my laptop in the basement while Brianna walked across the floor above me, her footsteps moving between the kitchen and living room. The chat went back months. It was messy, full of jokes, reactions, deleted message notices, and side comments about food and party supplies. That somehow made it worse. Betrayal tucked between Venmo reminders and jokes about who forgot ice. Kendra, Bree needs one clean night where nobody makes it weird. Trevor, it is weird. Kendra, then mute the chat. Brianna, after Saturday, I will talk to him. I just need one clean night. Wesley, he won't make a scene if everyone is there. Kendra, exactly. Farther down, the messages shifted from the inappropriate relationship to something else. Brianna, I do not think he will leave if I just ask. Wesley, do not ask like that. Say space. Say you both need it. Kendra, and keep it calm. If he loses his temper, people will believe he is the problem. Wesley, once he is out of the house, it will be easier. Brianna, I moved the reimbursement money already. It is not that much. Trevor, what money? Kendra, Trevor, stop. My pulse thudded so hard I could feel it in my teeth. I opened our shared savings account. 3 transfers I had noticed, but not understood sat there with bland labels. Consulting reimbursement. Each one had gone to a bank I did not recognize. Together, they were not enough to ruin me, but they were enough to show intent. They had been moving pieces around while planning to make me look unstable for refusing to leave my own home. The betrayal hurt. The plan clarified things. I was not dealing with one mistake. I was dealing with a group project. I called Vanessa. She picked up with, "Are you not supposed to be getting emotionally ambushed by appetizers tonight?" I almost laughed. Instead, I said, Brianna is having an inappropriate relationship with Wesley. The group knew. They were planning to get me out of the house. There was a short silence. Then Vanessa said, "Okay, send me what you have." I did. She called back 7 minutes later. "You are still asking why," she said. "You need to start asking what now. I am trying not to do something foolish." Good. Keep doing that. Do not leave the house. Do not break anything. Do not send a manifesto to the group chat. I know an attorney. Her name is Ellen Hart. She handled my cousin's divorce when her husband tried to hide money in a landscaping business. It is Saturday. She answers her phone for emergencies. This qualifies. Ellen Hart sounded exactly like someone who had heard every possible version of betrayal and had stopped being surprised in 2009. "Tell me what you have," she said. I gave her the short version. Screenshots, chat export, hotel receipt, phone logs, bank transfers, and the party that evening. "Are you safe?" she asked. "Yes." "Then do not leave the house unless you are unsafe. Do not threaten anyone. Do not touch her phone. Do not access accounts that are not yours or joint. Preserve the evidence exactly as you received it. Send copies to a secure email. Change passwords on your personal accounts. Secure your work devices and important documents. If she asked you to stay somewhere else tonight." The answer is no. I pressed my palm against the edge of the desk. She is planning to make me look like the problem. "Then do not hand them the reaction they are trying to provoke," Ellen said. Calm is not weakness here. Calm is leverage. After we hung up, I moved like someone following a safety protocol. I scanned bank statements. I photographed the hotel receipt beside that day's newspaper because my claims brain wanted timestamps even in a personal collapse. I saved the phone logs, the PDF, and the screenshots from Malcolm's accidental folder. I changed passwords on my personal email, cloud storage, and banking login. I put my passport, birth certificate, backup drive, and work laptop into a bag and locked it in the trunk of my car. Then I texted my brother. Need you available tonight. Do not ask yet. He replied almost immediately. Done. By 3 p.m., Kendra was in my kitchen arranging paper plates like she was preparing for a magazine shoot. Malcolm was in the living room testing the projector again, and he could not look at me for more than 2 seconds. Trevor carried folding chairs through the side gate with his jaw clenched. Paige arrived with a tray of pasta salad and red eyes. Brianna moved through all of it glowing. She had changed into a green dress I loved, the one with small buttons down the front. She touched my arm when people were watching. She asked if I had eaten. She told everyone I had been so patient with the party chaos. Wesley arrived last, carrying a bottle of bourbon I had given him for his birthday the year before. To 7 years, buddy, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. His hand sat there half a second too long. I looked at him and said, big night. He grinned. You have no idea. For a moment, I wondered if he heard himself, if any of them did, or if lying made people deaf to their own lines. The backyard looked beautiful, which annoyed me. String lights crossed over the patio. Citronella candles smoked on the tables. Someone had set out trays of barbecue, roasted vegetables, pasta salad, rolls, and Costco desserts. Kids from next door shouted somewhere beyond the fence. The air smelled like cut grass and lighter fluid. People laughed too loudly. That was the first thing I noticed. Everyone was performing normal. Kendra kept refilling glasses. Trevor hovered near the cooler. Paige stayed close to her husband, but did not touch him. Malcolm fussed with the playlist like music volume could prevent consequences. Brianna's parents came, which I had not expected. Her mother hugged me and said, 7 years. Can you believe it? No, I said. I really cannot. She smiled, missing it completely. Wesley's girlfriend, Erica, texted that she was running late because of traffic on 202. I had met her maybe 6 times. Nice woman. Kindergarten teacher. She deserved better than walking into this, but apparently, everyone deserved better than something that night. Around 7 o'clock, Malcolm started the official slideshow on the portable screen set against the back of the house. Everyone gathered with drinks and paper plates balanced on their laps. The first photo was from our wedding. Brianna and me under white lights, younger and thinner and unaware of all the ways people can disappoint each other. Then us in Ocean City with sunburned noses. Us painting the living room. Us at a Phillies game. Us standing beside the Christmas tree the year it leaned so badly Wesley tied it to the curtain rod with fishing line. People laughed at the right times. Brianna sat beside me and squeezed my hand. We made it, did we not? She whispered. I looked at our hands. Her nails were painted pale pink. My wedding ring caught the projector light. Looks like it, I said. The photo of Hank appeared, the one where he had stolen an entire hamburger bun and looked deeply offended at being caught. A few people made soft sounds. Brianna leaned her head against my shoulder. I let her, not because I forgave her, because I needed everyone to see exactly what she chose to perform. When the slideshow ended, people clapped. Malcolm looked relieved, which almost made me feel bad for him. Almost. Then Brianna stood with a glass of champagne. I just want to say something, she said. Of course she did. She smiled at everyone, then at me. Her donor relations voice came out, warm and polished, the one that made rich people open checkbooks. Marriage is about grace, she said, even when things are not perfect. Especially then. Cole and I have had an imperfect season, but I am grateful for the life we built and for friends who love us enough to show up for us. Kendra wiped under one eye. I stared at her. Kendra, the same person who had typed if he loses his temper, people will believe he is the problem. Brianna continued. Here is to choosing love, even when it takes work. Everyone lifted a glass. Some people looked at me, waiting for the husband reaction. A kiss, maybe. A joke. Something safe. I stood. Actually, I said, I put together something too. Brianna's smile twitched. What? It is short. Malcolm looked at the projector. Cole, I do not know if you should do that. I have got it. I walked inside, retrieved my laptop from the front hall table, and connected it to the projector before anyone found a good reason to stop me. My hands were shaking, but not enough for anyone to see from the patio. The screen lit up. No Cole Zone. The group chat name appeared in large text. Under it were selected messages. Not the whole PDF. Nothing graphic. I had been careful. I showed enough. Kendra. Keep Cole away from the kitchen after 8 o'clock. Wesley. He won't notice. He never does. Trevor. This feels wrong. Kendra. Then mute the chat. The backyard went so quiet I could hear the projector fan. Brianna said, Cole. I clicked to the next slide. Brianna. After Saturday, I will talk to him. I just need one clean night. Wesley. Once he is out of the house, it will be easier. Kendra. If he loses his temper, people will believe he is the problem. A chair scraped against the patio. I clicked again. The hotel receipt. Date, hotel name, charges. Then the call log summary. Then the bank transfer list with the amounts and labels. Brianna moved toward the laptop. No, I said. It was not loud, but she stopped. I closed the laptop enough to blank the screen, but kept my hand on it. I am not going to lose my temper, I said. I am going to be very clear. Brianna, I know about you and Wesley. I know about the plan to get me out of my own house. I know who helped, who watched, and who laughed. Wesley stood with his palms out like I was a dog he needed to calm. Come on, bro, he said. This is not the place. I looked at him. You made it the place when you brought it into my backyard. His face hardened. The charming version of Wesley blinked off, and for the first time, I saw the resentment underneath. It was quick, but it was there. You are making this worse than it has to be, he said. I am not confused anymore. Brianna's mother had gone pale. Her father was staring at Wesley like he was trying to place him at a terrible situation. Kendra stepped forward, voice sharp. This is humiliating for everyone. I almost smiled. For everyone? You do not know what she was going through, Kendra said. We were trying to keep things from exploding. Paige made a sound like a laugh and a sob at the same time. Stop, she said. Kendra turned on her. Paige. No. Paige wiped her face with the heel of her hand. Stop. You knew. We all knew enough. Trevor looked at the ground. I am sorry, Cole, he said quietly. I did not answer him. I could not. His apology felt like a receipt printed after the store had burned down. Brianna finally found her voice. That chat looks bad out of context, she said. A few people actually looked at her, waiting for the context that would save it. She looked around and realized no one was helping. It is complicated, she said. Her father set his drink down on the table. No, he said. It does not seem complicated. That broke something in her face. At that exact moment, Erica came through the side gate carrying a gift bag and wearing the confused smile of someone arriving late to a party that had already died. Did I miss the toast? She asked. No one answered. Wesley moved toward her. Erica, let us go talk out front. She looked from him to Brianna to me. What happened? I did not want to be cruel to her, but I also was not going to let Wesley drag another person into a private version of the story. You should ask him, I said. But you can read this first. I handed her my phone with the selected screenshots open. Wesley said my name like a warning. Erica read silently. Her expression changed slowly, then all at once. Oh my God, she said. Wesley began to speak. She shoved the gift bag into his chest and said, Do not. She walked out through the gate. Wesley followed her into the driveway, talking fast. His voice faded, then rose, then stopped. A car door slammed. Back in the yard, Brianna's parents left without hugging anyone. Her mother cried. Her father put a hand on my shoulder for 1 second and said, I am sorry, Cole. Then they were gone. People started gathering purses, containers, and jackets. The group that had spent years moving comfortably through my home suddenly did not know where to stand. I looked at Kendra. Take the decorations you brought if you want them. She stared at me like I had slapped her. The party is over, I said. Please get out of my house. Nobody argued after that. The cleanup was awkward and incomplete. Someone left a tray of rolls open. A citronella candle burned itself into a puddle. Malcolm unplugged the projector with shaking hands and whispered, I am sorry, man, without looking at me. I said, you should go. He went. Paige was the last friend to leave. Trevor waited by the car, hands in his pockets. I am not asking you to forgive me, she said. Good. She nodded like she deserved that. I really am sorry. I believe you. Her face crumpled a little. That does not fix anything, I said. I know. When she left, the house felt enormous. Brianna stood in the kitchen among half-empty wine bottles and paper plates streaked with barbecue sauce. The green dress looked wrong now, like a costume after the play ended. For a few minutes, neither of us spoke. Then she started crying. I was lonely, Cole. I leaned against the counter. Do not. You were not there emotionally. Do not. I did not know how to tell you. I laughed once, not because anything was funny. So you told everyone else? Her tears changed into anger fast. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. You planned my humiliation in front of everyone. That is not fair. No, it is not. She wiped at her face. The money was not what you think. I am not discussing money with you tonight. Cole, please. Can we just talk like adults? Talk to my attorney. She stared at me. Are you serious? Talk to my attorney. That is all you are going to say? Yes. She tried softer. She tried angry. She tried telling me Wesley understood parts of her she did not know how to explain. She tried saying the marriage had already been over in some ways. She tried saying she planned to tell me after the party because she wanted one last good memory. I kept hearing the chat instead. Once he is out of the house, it will be easier. At 1:10 a.m., she packed a bag and called Kendra. I heard her in the hallway, whispering fiercely, "No, I cannot stay here tonight." Before she left, she stood by the front door and said, "I hope you are happy with what you did." I looked at the string lights still glowing through the back window. "I am not happy," I said. "I am done." She left. I did not sleep. Around 3 a.m., I walked the house and locked every door. I changed the garage code. I took the fake rock key and threw it into the junk drawer. Then I sat on the living room floor beside the unplugged projector screen until the sky turned gray. The weeks after that were not satisfying in the way people want revenge stories to be satisfying. They were paperwork, attorney calls, bank statements, awkward conversations, and grief that showed up at difficult times. I cried in a Wegmans parking lot because I saw the brand of coffee Brianna liked. I almost texted Wesley during an Eagles game because the referee made a terrible call, and my hand reached for my phone before my brain caught up. I found one of Brianna's earrings under the bathroom vanity and sat on the edge of the tub for 10 minutes. The silence hurt, but at least it was not lying to me. Ellen filed what needed filing. The transferred money became part of the settlement discussions, and Brianna's attorney stopped using phrases like miscommunication once Ellen provided the records. Brianna moved into Kendra's spare room, which lasted about 6 weeks before I heard through someone's husband's cousin that they were barely speaking. Apparently, loyalty is less fun when it lives in your hallway and cries on your couch. Wesley lost Erica immediately. The wider social circle found out in the usual suburban way. Not through one dramatic announcement, but through driveway conversations, clipped Facebook comments, people declining invitations, and one incredibly uncomfortable brewery trivia night where no one wanted him on their team. He worked in sales, and reputation mattered. He did not lose his job, but he lost several mutual clients who decided they did not need him servicing their buildings anymore. Trevor and Paige separated temporarily. I did not feel triumphant about that. Paige had failed me, but Trevor's silence had failed her too. Cowardice does not stay politely in its lane. It leaks. Malcolm sent me a long apology email. I read it twice and did not answer. Maybe he had not been malicious at first. Maybe he had just been careless, then scared, then complicit. That was a popular path in our group. Kendra tried once to contact me directly. The message said, "I know you hate me, but I hope someday you understand we were trying to prevent a bigger mess." I deleted it. There was no bigger mess than making betrayal a committee decision. The divorce took months. Not years, thankfully, but long enough for every form to feel heavy. In the end, I kept the house by refinancing and buying out Brianna's share, adjusted for the money she had moved out of joint savings. It was not a movie ending. My mortgage got uglier. I had to cut back on things. I sold the treadmill Wesley had helped carry in because every time I saw it, I wanted to throw it out. But the house stayed mine. After Brianna moved the rest of her things out, I repainted the guest bathroom one color instead of 6 samples. I fixed the basement floor. I replaced the side gate latch myself, badly at first, then correctly after watching 2 videos and swearing at a screw that stripped halfway in. One Saturday in late spring, my neighbor Dan saw me fighting with it and came over holding a drill. "Do you want help, or are you emotionally attached to doing that wrong?" he asked. I handed him the drill. His wife, Monica, brought over lemonade and later invited me to their Memorial Day cookout. I almost said no out of habit, because the idea of standing in another backyard with paper plates made me uncomfortable. But I went for an hour. Nobody asked invasive questions. Nobody made speeches. Dan burned hot dogs. Monica blamed the grill, and their teenage daughter charged people $5 to throw water balloons at her brother. It was the first group gathering I had attended in months where nothing felt staged. By the time fall came around again, the anniversary date passed quietly. I worked that day. Vanessa left a coffee on my desk without making it a thing. My brother texted, "Proud of you, idiot." I ordered Thai food, watched half a baseball game, and went to bed before 11 o'clock. A week later, I hosted dinner. Not a party, not a tradition, just dinner. My brother came with a six-pack and a bag of ice because he said no gathering in Pennsylvania could legally happen without someone bringing ice. Vanessa brought salad and insulted my serving bowls. Dan and Monica came over with a pie from a bakery they swore was better than anything at Costco. We ate in the backyard at the old folding table. I had taken down the string lights months earlier and never put them back up. The yard looked plainer without them, but I liked it better that way. No slideshow, no toast, no forced moment where everyone had to pretend the room meant the same thing to all of us. At one point, my brother raised his beer and said, "To the gate that actually locks now." Dan nodded seriously. A major engineering achievement. Vanessa looked at me. And to fewer idiots having the garage code. "None of you have the garage code," I said. Monica laughed. "Good." Later, after they left, I loaded the dishwasher and wiped down the counters. There were crumbs on the floor, a stack of plates by the sink, and one unopened bottle of wine on the table. Ordinary mess. Honest mess. I stood in the kitchen for a while, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of a car passing on the street. I had lost more than a marriage. I had lost the lazy comfort of assuming that familiar meant safe. For a long time, I thought a packed backyard meant I was loved well. It can mean that. It can also mean people enjoy your grill, your cooler, your tolerance, and your willingness not to ask why the side gate camera keeps going out. I still missed parts of my old life. I will not pretend I did not. Some mornings, grief sat at the foot of my bed like a dog waiting to be fed. But it got smaller when I stopped feeding it excuses. I no longer confused comfort with loyalty. I no longer gave people endless time to explain behavior that already hurt me. And I no longer kept the spare key under a fake rock just because everyone knew where it was. Before going upstairs, I checked the back door, turned off the kitchen light, and looked once more at the quiet room behind me. For the first time in years, my house felt like mine. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.